The scene cuts to the Seavers after they've been informed of what has happened. Peter wants to go look for their pets, but his stepfather tells him doing so is easier said than done and it's best for them to wait until they've gotten word from the Rangers. But this only leads him to scold and blame Bob for the situation when they should have taken Shadow, Chance and Sassy with them in the first place, and storms off to his room. The next day, Bob is in his office when he gets notified by the secretary about his students waiting for him. Before heading off, he gives the woman a reward poster and instructs her to print another 100 copies of them. The scene takes us to Sassy, who has made a full recovery under Quentin's care. The man notes that she is much better compared to last time and feeds her some food, much to the cat's satisfaction. Somewhere else, a mountain lion is lurking nearby, watching Chance and Shadow in the distance and heading their way. The dogs are fishing for food when Chance sees the big cat on the hill and warns Shadow of the lion as it announces its presence, forcing the two to make a run for their lives with the predator hot in pursuit. The chase goes on for a while and eventually the dogs make it to the edge of a cliff. Believing he's doomed, Chance starts to tell Shadow where he keeps his things hidden at home, and upon mentioning the TV remote is under the seesaw, the golden retriever notices a stone resembling a seesaw and gets an idea on what to do. Elsewhere, the lion is searching for its prey when it hears barking in the distance and finds Shadow, who runs away, prompting the cat to go after him through the woods and other areas. The golden retriever makes it back to the cliff where Chance has taken his place on a large rock as part of the plan. And soon enough, the lion arrives and corners him. But when the predator steps on the seesaw, Shadow gives the signal for Chance to jump on the top end, flinging the cat over the cliff and right into the lake below. Triumphant, the two dogs bark in celebration of their victory. The scene cuts to Sassy, who is with Quentin when she hears barking in the distance. Recognizing that they're coming from Chance and Shadow, the cat bids farewell to her caretaker and races off to their location. She spots the pair in the distance and calls out to them. Hearing her, the dogs see Sassy coming their way and run to her as well. Soon enough, the trio share a joyful reunion. Later on, the reunited pets finish eating a pile of fish and talk about what they're going to do when they get home. Chance spots a porcupine walking nearby and goes over to befriend it, but the animal starts to get annoyed by his pestering and whacks him with its tail. Shadow and Sassy rush over in concern and notice the quills stuck to their comrade's face. Sassy tries to remove them, but they're in too deep, and as he wallows in his misfortune, the dog curses the porcupine for what it did to him. The scene then takes us to Peter visiting the San Francisco Police Department to get help in the search for the missing pets. But the sergeant tells him that the police have more important matters than looking for 3 runaways at the moment, but advises him to set up reward posters around the city. When he returns home, Peter finds one of the papers and learns from Laura that Bob made them to help in searching for the missing 3 but hadn't told him because he didn't want to get his hopes up. Feeling somber, Peter admits he misses Shadow and his mother comforts him. We are shown the reunited pets taking a detour through the forest and finding a place to rest for the night. Shadow hears a sound and goes to find out where it's coming from, only to discover a little girl named Molly who happens to be lost. Approaching the child, he quickly gains her trust, which leads him and the others to stay and keep her company. The next morning, Shadow leaves the group when he hears people calling for Molly's name and tracks down a search party with the child's parents among them. The golden retriever catches their attention and Molly's father thinks he may have found something, following the dog to where the others are. Soon enough, Molly is reunited with her parents. Her father then comes over to thank Shadow for finding his daughter, and the Rangers recognize the pets from the missing posters. In the next scene, Bob receives a call from the Rangers and is informed that they have found Shadow, Chance and Sassy, who are on their way to an animal shelter. At school, Peter excitedly leaves his class and meets up with Hope as the family go to pick up Jamie, who is participating in a play when his parents and siblings come to tell him of the good news, causing him to drop the pumpkin in excitement and join them. We are then taken to the pets, who are riding on the Rangers' truck. When the vehicle arrives at the animal shelter, Chance mistakes it for the Pound and panics as he and Shadow are leashed and separated, with the former being taken to the back room. Fortunately, Sassy manages to avoid capture and goes into hiding. She later sneaks back into the building and frees Shadow from his cage before the two head off to find Chance, who is in the medical room getting the quills removed. After finding where he's kept, the pair are discovered by a guard and Sassy distracts the man by getting him to chase her. Shadow bursts the door open, which gives Chance the opportunity to escape as the two make a run for it. The guard has finally caught Sassy, but his victory is cut short when the dogs come around the corner and knock him off his feet, causing him to let the cat go. The 3 eventually manage to make it out of the shelter and escape beneath the fence before retreating to the woods and resuming their journey from then on. Sometime later, the Seavers have arrived and learned of the bad news. While Bob and Laura discuss what they're going to do next, Peter desperately calls out to Shadow, but no barking is heard. In the next scene, the pets have arrived at a local train yard. After avoiding an incoming locomotive, Shadow continues to lead the way but makes the mistake of walking on a rotting plank board that breaks under his weight and sends him falling into a muddy sinkhole. Horrified, Chance and Sassy rush to see if he is alright and beg him to try climbing his way out. While Shadow initially attempts to do so, he realizes the mud is too slippery and the impact from the fall has broken one of his front legs. Seeing that he has no chance of making it out, the golden retriever gives up and resigns himself to his fate. Refusing to leave him behind, Chance makes his way down and begins to angrily and tearfully scold Shadow for quitting when they are so close to home and urges him to try again. But the older dog is too demoralized and tells Chance he has learned everything he needs to go on without him. And now, the only thing left for him to learn is how to say farewell. Distraught, Chance looks to Sassy for help, who is just as unsure on what to do herself and looks back at Shadow before reaffirming his refusal to leave his friend behind. The scene takes us to Bob and the kids playing basketball together until they hear faint barking in the distance. Believing that it's Chance, Jamie calls out to him and moments later, the dog comes running over the hill and happily tackles him, both overjoyed at seeing each other again as they're joined by the rest of the family. Soon, it is not long before Sassy follows and is happily reunited with Hope. Peter looks on in the distance, hoping Shadow will appear. But as time passes, the boy becomes demoralized and acknowledges that his best friend was too old to make it home. Before going back inside, Peter turns around for one last time only to see Shadow limping into view, having managed to find the strength to climb out of the sinkhole. Not wasting time, the two run towards each other, happy at finally being reunited after so long. When it's time to go in and celebrate, Chance stays behind to reflect on his own acceptance of being a part of the family until Jamie calls him in. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. Have a great day.